ago, in Okiti, lived Adane, a young girl who admired great and fulfilled women. She wanted to become an Amazon, and she worked towards it by taking her education serious from her high school. Her parents, Chus and Ezine, were civil servants, and they had other children apart from Adane. When Adane finished her high school and got admitted into the university, everybody was happy, particularly Chus and Ezine, because they have long waited for this day. Adane stayed in schoolgirls' hostel because her parents insisted. She wasn't happy initially, as she has always been a private person. She encouraged herself to adapt to the new stage of life. After all, it wasn't meant to be forever. And most importantly, as a girl who aspires to be an Amazon, she needed to learn how to relate to people from different backgrounds, both the complex and the simple. So, school hostel was just the perfect training ground for this. She was allocated to room 40C. She had 4 roommates, different beliefs, and different character. Some of them only make use of the room just to have their baths, dress up, and off they go to the next day. They had days of fun, days of laughter, days of serious arguments, and days of malice. It was an all-round experience in room 40C. Her parents were so kind in her first year because everything she needed was paid for without any form of delay. She also received regular monthly stipends just to keep body and soul together. Adane had no reason whatsoever to be distracted in school, so her CGPA for her first year was 5.0. She was happy when she saw her results. She said, "I am few miles away to becoming an Amazon, and I will keep studying even better to maintain this good start." When she returned home for the holidays, she appreciated her parents for all they did despite still being an only child. She promised never to disappoint them in any way. She didn't stop there. She would wake up before everyone and tidy up the whole house, cook, and do anything just to please her parents, and also for them to see that she really do not take for granted all they did for her in the first year, even if it is their responsibility as her parents. A night before her second year resumption, she was called for a 3-man meeting, meaning it was just her and her parents. Adane wasn't expecting anything less of appreciation for being a good girl throughout her stay, because sincerely she really gave her all. Her father started, "Thank you, Ada. Even the blind can see that we, your parents, have trained a good wife. You cook so well. You are neat. You are hardworking. You are brilliant. And above all, you are very beautiful with a good character. I can tell you for free as your father and as a man that there is nothing more that a man needs from a woman. So I will charge whoever that will come here to pluck you as a beautiful flower in a beautiful garden." They all laughed over it. And Chu said, "But Adamwam," meaning Ada, my child, "your mother and I called you here to discuss something very important with you. So as a woman, I will let her speak, because I feel you will understand better." Speaking to his wife now, he said, "My dear, over to you." Ezine first hailed her daughter, "Oyoyonwam, Ada Beke, Ada Njimono, Ada that would take me to Obodo Yibo." Adane felt flattered, and when Ezine had seen that her daughter felt so good, she then said, "You will agree with me that your father and I went out of our way in your first year, because how much is our salary? You have seen our paycheck, and it is no longer news that civil servants are just slaves in the hands of the government. Sometimes our salaries are being delayed and paid after 1 week. Other times, we are not paid at all till the next month. And you have siblings who still go to school and as well eat 3 times a day. Adane affirmed all her mother said to be true and appreciated them one more time for being intentional parents. Her mother continued. She said, "Sincerely, we are stressed and we have gotten to our elasticity limits. We have decided that since you are endowed by God, who knows the end from the very beginning, that it is time for you to use what you have to get cool cash and then assist us, your parents. There are a lot of students who send money from school to their parents, and they are in no way better than you. So please, as you return to school tomorrow, thank God you stay in school hostel. And what we are proposing is in no way strange to you. Meet them and ask them to show you the way. Humble yourself and learn different dexterities. Surpass them and pull us out from this state of no salary, no food." Adane was disappointed in her parents. To say that the high esteem she had them vanished immediately is to say the least. And she asked a simple question. "Do you, my parents, in any way realize the gravity of what you're pushing me into? What if I contact STD through this process? Or what if I'm being used for rituals? Daddy and mommy, please listen to these stories. In my hostel, this set of ballers all of a sudden started decaying, and they all had a peculiar way in which they decayed. It was half of their bodies, from their heads to their legs. When they were being interviewed, they said some set of wealthy alhajis parked their cars in front of the hostel and said they just needed them to fart the air. One fart equals to 1 million naira. Huge amount of money, right? But these girls couldn't think outside the box. Like, who gives 1 million naira for one fart? As in one meso? Without a string, of course, which must be evil attached to it. But trust human beings. Let me even stereotype it. Girls and money. And guess what? They accepted the offer and pleaded with the alhajis to give them 30 minutes to go and prepare, as they were not just ready to mess, but to give them mess in abundance. This was a good news to the alhajis, because why not? They were on a mission for destruction. This set of girls went into the hostel's restaurants and bought all the cooked eggs. They ate, drank enough water, and were fully ready to release. They came out to meet the men who were patiently waiting. Fear no still catch them, like, who sit and wait for mess? The girls started releasing, permit me to say, messes with different sounds. Prom, boom, and the rest. They were able to make millions of naira. They got the latest BlackBerry phones, human hairs, fixed nails, bought clothes and handbags, and stopped cooking and began to order foods from Chicken Republic. My beloved parents, all this paparazzi, it ended within 3 weeks. 3 weeks, just 3 weeks. From small wound to half of their bodies being decayed. Her parents were just silent, waiting for her to be through with her stories that touched the heart. You know when someone had completely made up his or her mind? If you like, talk from now till tomorrow. You are simply on your own. It will only take the grace of God for them to see things the way you, the advisor, see things. Adane continued. She said, another one that happened again. This set of girls traveled outside the school state to another state entirely because a man invited them. The man said his millionaire friends needed girls to stay with them for the weekend and get paid heavily. At the mention of heavy payment, they said, say no more. The man sent a fine car to come pick them up. They got dressed and with their shoulders high, like those coats with heavy shoulder pads. They entered the car like people who had arrived, and the driver zoomed off. When they arrived at their destination, they were hoping to be lodged in a beautiful hotel so they can snap pictures, make videos, and post to pepper people on social media and make other girls feel less of themselves. But that never happened because the driver took them to an uncompleted building, very gigantic one, according to what we were being told. And hefty men got them tied up. They told them that they will all be put into the pillars of the house and concrete will be poured on them, as the owner of the house is not an ordinary being, and that he was given the instruction to build his mansion with young girls in it as sacrifice. One of them was so lucky to untie herself. She escaped, returned back to the hostel, and shared the story. Till today, those other girls have not returned. Their phones switched off, and their parents, siblings, and loved ones will be somewhere praying that God should bring them back. The police will be making unnecessary investigations here and there with no headway, not knowing that the girls walked with their legs and with their eyes widely open into their early graves. So I ask you again, my parents, do you still want me to go through the route you proposed earlier? People of God, even African Tales by Karma is still wondering the kind of parents those two were. They boldly answered yes, because we have no other option. They said that all death is death, and that as civil servants they have gone for the funerals of their colleagues. Until today, most of them have no cause for their deaths. They, however, assured Adani that they will also keep praying for her, and that she wouldn't meet those hungry for human flesh, and that her case will always be like the girl who escaped death. It was at this point that Adani realized that her parents were heartless, selfish, evil, and people who can go to any lengths, even if it means loss of life, just to get money. She was disappointed, broken, shattered, and disorganized. She started crying, and they called it crocodile tears, and left her presence. Adani could not sleep. She waited for the next day to come in a hurry so she can leave the house and stop seeing her parents, who are now torn into sworn enemies. The next day, as someone who had packed earlier, traveling back to school was in no way difficult. She left before anyone woke up, and her siblings wondered why, because it was so unusual of her. No hugs, no bye-bye, no words of advice and hope as she always did. Maybe she received an impromptu call, they concluded. When Adani got back to school, she still hadn't recovered from what her parents told her. She would have sworn by any deity that her parents were different. Little did she know that they only needed time to prove their kind. She cried facing the wall because she wouldn't want her roommates to notice and then start asking jam questions. She knew if she continued pondering on what she has heard, that she will ruin her academic performance. So she decided to shake it off and then pick up the lesson of never to trust someone or vouch for anyone until they have proven to be trusted. Luckily for her, her parents sent her school fees for the second year first semester without sending any extra money for her upkeep. She was not totally sad. At least a bird in hand is worth more than 1,000 in the bush. She resorted to begging her classmates, her roommates, and lecturers for feeding money or anything they can help with just to survive. First semester finished, and there was no money to travel back home, so she stayed back. To her parents, this was step one to achieving what they had proposed earlier. They prayed that someone that will introduce their daughter into runs will connect with her and will stand firm until she's been convinced to start. And coincidentally, it did happen, because all the people that stayed back did so because they had one contract or the other. Oh, you are surprised I called it a contract? Now let me bust your bubbles. You think they call themselves runs babes? No, they call themselves influencers. Now back to our story. Her roommates got tired of giving her money, and so they introduced her to their line of business. Adane refused outrightly. She said, I have a vision, and my vision is so weighty, and I wouldn't want any man to destroy it cheaply. My name will be written in the sands of time, and parents will always preach to their children to aspire to be like Adane. And the girl said to her, won't you eat first and be alive before you talk about tomorrow? Those in the grave, can they aspire to inspire? So you don't know hunger is a killer mechanism. Okay, Madam Visionaire, keep envisioning and let's keep our money. Chikina, because you have indirectly told us that we don't have sense. We have no plan for the future. So all the money we have been giving to you, we will save it and use it for our own visions too. After all, we end these mornings making use of what we have that you also have. And come to think of it, beauty, you find passes. Shape, you get and passes. So hold your weighty vision and let's keep our weighty money. Adane wasn't bothered. After all, the meat you don't want to eat, there is absolutely no need to smell it. They were so right in their decision. If she doesn't want to live like them, she shouldn't spend money made from such a lifestyle. She stayed throughout that day without food. Second day, no food. The third day, no food. But this time, she wasn't seeing things in double. She sees them in sevens. Her case became like that of Esau, who sold his birthright because of food. Adane succumbed. Her words were not clear because she was indeed hungry. She managed to say, please give me food. I am dying. I will join you. I have agreed to live like you. They laughed at her, gave her food because she was behaving as if she would give up the next minute. Adane ate the food with the speed of light in tears because she knew there was no way she would escape joining the girls. When she was done, she slept off as she had sleepless nights because of hunger. The girls waited for her patiently to enjoy herself and get refreshed so they can discuss and map her plans for the week. She finally woke up, strengthened, and can now see clearly. She thanked them for the food, and the girls said the first step to joining them is to first change her wardrobe. Adane smiled and said, but you know I almost died because of hunger. So where do you expect me to get money to change my wardrobe? Let me manage what I have first. And when money starts coming in, I promise I will first buy the type of clothes you want me to buy. In fact, we will all go together so you can help out with the selection. The guests laughed out loud and called her JJC. They told her that standing on the road with her clothes will only attract an evangelist or a struggling pastor who goes about inviting people to his church and thereafter will plead with her to join the church choir. They told her to dress up and they took her out for shopping and paid for all that they got as if it was nothing. Adane was surprised. So you girls have this money and you can't give me freely, she said in her mind. Well, I guess the devil played a smart one on me. Coincidentally, that night there was a party and they dressed Adane up with a funky hair and announcing makeup. As a beautiful girl, all they did enhanced her beauty and made her noticeable. She was approached by one wealthy business guy. Her friends answered for her, and told the guy that he can have her for as many nights as possible, but he should make sure he doesn't cheat her, as the Association of Big Girls, aka influencers, have a fixed price. Adanne was moody, and she muttered the word, "Dear Lord, I am sorry. In all that I will lose tonight, may I not lose the vision of becoming an Amazon." The young man observed her and read through her silence, a young lady going through some hard times. Well, everybody's going through one thing or the other, and I'm here to ease myself from my own shaggy promise. He called himself by his name and said, "You must not be caught being kind again this night, as your name is not called kindness." When they got to the hotel room, he had his bath, leaving Adanne on the bed. Adanne was just uncomfortable. This is not me. This is another Adanne that must not strive. This Adanne that had risen is a killer of vision. But then again, hunger and the thought of next semester made her suppress the already building decision to say no to the guy and return back to the hostel. She cleaned her makeup with a wipe and was ready for whatever the guy would bring up that night. The guy came out fully charged and asked Adanne to remove her clothes and expressed disappointment as he expected her to join him in the bathroom. "But I can see you have cleaned up your makeup, so I will assume that you are ready for me. But please, you have to note that I'm here for pleasure, so don't expect a soft handling. The money I am paying is much, so I will use it to the fullest." Adanne didn't know when hot tears rolled down her chins. Like, finally, my parents have succeeded in pushing me to their evil desire. If I can't become an Amazon in my chosen path, you see this path that these people have chosen for me, I will go very deep and they will regret why they opened their mouth to say so. I will tell people that I'm an orphan. She had already given up on her dreams when all of a sudden the man said, "I have been observing you since we left the party. You also give in to deep thoughts. It is glaring that you're going through a lot, something deeper than mine. Can you please share before we go into the business that brought us here? I may be of great help through my words of encouragement." What? Adanne asked within herself. Is this how miracle happens? Or he wants to get something out of me to pin me down? But on a second thought, Adanne told him everything, from her first year and the night she heard what she called abominable things from her parents, to how she landed in the hotel room with him. The guy said to her, "My name is Chibueze, and I'm a businessman. I am here to ease off my stress. But it seems your heartbreak is more severe than mine, because it came from your demigods, the lady I loved sincerely and have spent so much on. We started making marriage plans together. All of a sudden woke up one morning and constructed a very long breakup message for me. As I read through it, I had instant headache and cold." Adanne didn't know when she started laughing. And Chibueze said, "Serious, oh, it is not a joking matter. I didn't step out of my house for 3 days. And I vowed I wasn't going to love anybody again, and that I would deal with so many ladies. But I can't touch you. You deserve my encouragement. That your dream. As far as I'm still alive, you must become. This is my card." He handed it over to Adanne and said, "Call me whenever you need anything. Your school fees and everything you'll be needing are now my personal needs." Adanne Adane wiped her eyes. She cleaned her ears and said, "Please wake me up from this dream." And Chibeze said to her, "You are not dreaming. It is so real as your name." "Thank you so much, sir," Adane said. "May your children find help in due season. And may God keep blessing your business." "Amen," Chibeze responded. And then, out of excitement, Adane asked, "Can I go now? I need to go show your card to my roommates as an evidence that God has turned things around for me." And Chibeze said, "Wow, that's so nice of you. Let me even see if it's my old card or the recent design." With all pleasure, Adane gave it to him. And Chibeze said, "You are really a novice. So you don't know your roommates have taken whatever they are doing as business. And we grab any man with their two hands that will be ready to spend on them without minding whose toes they step on. Now, let me school you. What am I even saying? Let me warn you sternly. Whatever we have discussed here remains with us. Your roommates must not know. Let me give you an assignment. As you live here, you must not smile. You saw that your mood before now. Put it on again. And any question they ask you, tell them you are not ready to answer yet. The only signal you'll be sending to them is that you are full of regrets and wish you never did what they proposed. Don't ever call me in their presence. If you need anything urgently and they are there with you, message me and put your phone on silence because I will surely respond. All my conversation with you must be deleted from your phone. Save my name as Mama Chibeze. You need to be street smart." Adane was grateful. All this he said made it very clear to her that her answers have eventually come. They exchanged contacts and he drove her back to the hostel. When her roommates returned, they were fully ready to listen to gist. They asked questions that could compare answers from Adane, but she was principled enough to listen to her helper. She could easily pass for an acting audition with her immediate switch. Her roommates decided to let her be. The next day, they told her they wanted to introduce her to one politician as a side chick, and she will enjoy him, as this particular gig will be a constant ATM, and together they will enjoy the national cake. Adane said to them, "I have not recovered from what happened to me yesterday. You were not even bothered. Instead, the only thing your brain could suggest to you is to get me a politician. Now listen to me. Yesterday was my first, and it will be the last. My parents may have abandoned me, but Jesus will not. He has proven always to be my present help in time of need. And yet, 2 days ago, you almost died because of hunger," her roommate said without allowing her to conclude. "We will leave hunger to open your brain again one more time. And if you come back running to us, we bet you will sign, because this you're in today and out tomorrow is simply finish." Adane didn't answer them. She said in her mind, "If only you know the creative miracle I have received, you will vanish into the thin air and never return to this room again." School resumed, and Adane cleared all her school bills, courtesy Chibeze, and she still have enough money to feed herself for the semester. Her roommates kept waiting for her to beg, but they all waited in vain. Chus and Ezine had already planned not to send school fees for their daughter, not knowing that God had raised someone very capable to sponsor her beyond BSc. The communication between Chibeze and Adane moved from school fees and need settlement to real matters. Their visions aligned and they became intimate friends. Finally, Adani graduated as the best in her department, leaving those her roommates behind because their carryovers were too much for a truck to carry. They thought they would be able to bribe their way through, but it didn't work because the lecturer they paid to help them fix things died in an accident. Chibueze was very excited. He bragged that his money didn't waste. He told Adani that since she doesn't have any distractions yet, that she should maximize the time by furthering her education to get her master's degree. Adani couldn't contain her joy because this is like a dream come true for her. She obtained a postgraduate form and got her master's degree. Chibueze said he wouldn't want another man to prune his garden, so he started talking about marriage. It was this time Adani called her parents. When they saw her call, they thought she wanted to beg, and they sharpened their mouths with heavy bombs that they were ready to throw at her, even after several years of not hearing from her. When they took her call, they first said, "Government have not paid us, in case you want money." And Adani said to them, "The law who gave the both of you jobs will compel the government to pay you because a laborer is worthy of his wages. Well, I am calling because I want to inform you that a friend will be bringing me home." She dropped the call and gave her parents an assignment because they kept asking questions like, "Have she graduated? But we didn't do well. We abandoned her like an orphan. Will she ever forgive us? Is she returning sick? This one she said a friend is bringing her home. Is it the same decaying sickness she talked about years ago? We should have listened to her. We caused this." The list went on, and sleep became very costly because they couldn't find it and they automatically emaciated. One day, a fine car drove into their compound and they were expecting to see a sick Adani being carried out, only for Adani to walk out with so much poise and elegance with Chibueze. Her parents buried their heads in shame. The meeting was formal and brief, no connection in any way. Adani introduced Chibueze and told them the date they have chosen for everything. Her parents could not oppose because they are simply a disgrace to parenthood. After a month, they got married and it was a carnival. Regret was capitally spelled out on Chu's and Ezine's faces because it became glaring that God's blessings can in no way be compared to the ones we got through past encounters. After their honeymoon, Adani begged her husband concerning her siblings, and Chibueze said to her, "You cannot be called a successful woman if you look back into your family and you are the only wealthy person. So whatever you need to do to set your siblings up, I am fully in support." Adani thanked her husband so well, and submission wasn't something he begged for all through their years on earth. She established all her siblings and looked away from her parents. Chibueze made sure she obtained her PhD and then called her one night that the only birthday gift he needed from her was to forgive her parents. He made her realize that their action towards her was the foundation to their meeting in the first place. Because if they were still sponsoring you in school, he said, you wouldn't have been lured by your friends, and we both wouldn't have met at the party. Adani understood his point, though she was still very hot, and at the same time, she needed to make her husband happy. She reconciled with her parents, showing them all she had achieved and her excellent results from the first degree to PhD. She forgave them, but her parents didn't forgive themselves, and so that cordial relationship was never restored. Chibueze surprised her with an all-paid trip to Paris for taking such a bold step. After 9 months, They had their first child. Adane was able to live her dream life. She became a voice, and her name became synonymous with success. Those her roommates in school came to her in frustration because they could not still graduate. She advised them to ask God for mercy and return back to Him in humility and learn a trade, as the truth remains that they are eventually in their reaping season of what they have sown several years ago. As a kind woman, she sponsored them in acquiring a skill, but that was the last time they spoke because Adane grew to the level of working with securities, and so she became inaccessible. She and her husband advanced in all-round prosperity and made a mark in the sands of time. Hey, African Tales by Kamo Tribe, I'm so sure you enjoyed this tale. Before I go, I would like to say this. No matter what you're going through, going into prostitution or getting money through shady things can never be the best options. Please wait on God. Am I saying it's easy waiting on God? No, it is not. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Psalm 30 verse 5. For his anger endureth but for a moment. In his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Hallelujah. Your joy is closer than what you can imagine. Don't compromise your faith, because what God has in plan for you, eyes have not seen it, ears have not heard it, neither has it entered into the heart of any man. I am saying a big thank you to all those that bought me a coffee. I am forever grateful. May God replenish your purses in Jesus' name. Amen. On this note, my special hug is for all those at the crossroads of their lives, those who are in the valley of decision, those who feel alone in this world, yet they have people. Don't worry, everything will be all right just very soon. Kindly connect back with the all-sufficient God and watch Him turn your nights into day. You know how we do it here? Tell me what you learned in the comment section and where you're watching us from, and I will respond to all of it as usual. Till I bring another story your way, it is a goodbye from here, and God bless you.